Today we're down at my local aquarium store and also just pet supplier in general. They do dog food and dog stuff and cat stuff as well. But big aquarium shop for a place this small, and they've got some cool creatures in there. Let's go in and take a look. So this is my buddy Wally. He doesn't move much unless it's feeding time. Now Wally is a South American Caiman, which is in the Crocodilia order, but it's not actually a crocodile or an alligator. They're their own actual individual species, and there's several different Caiman out there. Wally is not the biggest one. He's only got maybe a foot left to him, but as you can see looking at him now, he's probably 3.5 feet long. The black Caiman can get considerably longer and quite a bit heavier than he can. You know, they can reach up to 2,200 pounds, whereas he'll peak out at about 80 to 90 pounds. But Wally is quite a bit more responsive when you start to open his doors and he thinks food's coming in. Until then, he's content just to lounge under his like 6 or 7 heat lamps and occasionally take himself a little bath. Right up here is an absolutely massive clown knife. I've never seen one this big, and I was actually told by the owner of the store that on a busy Saturday, you know, when the commotion settled down, there was just a box sitting on the front counter with a note on it saying, "Find me a home." And after checking the tapes, a gentleman brought in and set down a box with this massive clown knife in it and just left. Pretty crazy for such a massive fish that they must have had for a lot of years to get that large, because most clown knife you see in pet stores are maybe 10 inches long and a tenth that in girth. Up here, one of the first fish that really does catch your eye here is this big yellow-bellied piranha. They've had this here for years. It's labeled as not for sale, which is unfortunate. It's actually hard to get piranha anymore just because of the distributors, and unless you live somewhere with really big fish stores, they don't have as many distributors, and a lot of states have outlawed them. But this little guy here is a terror, and not the fish like a red terror, but he terrorizes this entire tank, rips stuff up all the time. One of the things I like about this store so much is how often they manage to get their hands on some of the older stuff you can't get anymore for tanks that sit on top of dressers. And if you have a hatred of hang off the back filters like I do, it's cool to actually see some people get in under gravel filters. So these guys still get in stuff from these. Actually, I need a 12 by 30, which should do a 29 gallon. So I'm gonna sorry about that. The camera actually just died and we didn't bring a spare battery. You showed up here with full battery, but that's just how it works sometimes. But I'm gonna go ahead and snag this for the 29 that lives on top of a dresser because I no longer want to hang on the back filter. The shark liked to race it and try to jump out, and that wasn't fun either, but I just don't think that filter does a good job. I think it's a little underdone. There's lots of cool stuff here though. Look at these, they're sweet. You get a mini under gravel filter for like a bowl or like a 2.5, and you connect your air pump to it. It's got carbon filter on it. That's a funny little nano tank filter if you like don't have a chance to do sumps or anything like that. Sponge filters, but just lots of stuff you just can't get your hands on anymore. A couple submersible pumps, of course, all of the reef stuff. This guy, I probably have to have this guy here. We have a 190 gallon per hour rotating pump head, kind of power head from Zoomed. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. This thing is old, but I think I gotta have it. I think this will be great in a cyclid tank. You know, do awesome at replacing my power head I have in there now. Of course, all your testing supplies, and then when we turn around, we have dog and cat stuff. So this 450 gallon custom built aquarium belongs to Sandy, which is a female nurse shark. She is very attention starved and always comes to the glass when you're near her. She's only about 8 years old and was afoot when she first came to this store. I actually remember that just coming in here for tanks for reptiles and stuff. And she has gotten massive in those 8 years. She's totally outgrown this aquarium here and definitely is going to need to upgrade to something completely huge. Realistically, if she gets any bigger, and she will, as she could be up to 10 feet long, she's going to end up going to a zoo. But right now she cleans up anything that needs eaten in this store and is definitely a cool mascot.